well here on court 1. Beats Sampras, the defending champion, and the Brit Barry Cowan continue their warm-ups. When we come back, we'll be ready to go. Sampras and Cowan on TNT. Beat Sampras and Barry Cowan just a moment away from getting this match going. Beats Sampras, his 13th appearance at Wimbledon. Loves to play on the grass. He's won it 7 times, including the last 4, 7 of the last 8.
And you hear a lot of people talking about Pete's only won at Wimbledon since 1997. Well, yeah, he's won 4 times. Wouldn't it be nice to have 4 Wimbledon titles in your bag? And that's discounting his other 9 Grand Slams prior to this 1997 Australian Open victory. Still yet the title at Roland Garros, and that's creeping further and further away from Pete Sampras, but he's made history, and I think he should feel very comfortable with his career.
Yeah, there's Barry Cowan, his world ranking 265. He has spent his 9 years as a professional, primarily on the satellite and challenger tours.
He's a guy who's just been grinding away, counting every year on the wild card that the British Tennis Federation gives him to compete here in Wimbledon. A little bit of a nice break for Pete Sampras here in the first point. And Cowan not having to go through the rigors of playing qualifying out at Roehampton. Able to get a direct entry courtesy of the Federation, and does well to get to the second round, winning his first round match.
Cowan defeating fellow Brit Mark Hilton. Straight sets.
Another wild card, so a great draw, really.
Actually, Cowan got off to a shaky start on Monday against Hilton, then settled down.
It's got to be a little nerve-wracking when you're playing all the smaller tournaments, playing in front of 50 to 100 people, and all of a sudden you come to Wimbledon, the biggest tournament in the world, and you're out now on court 1 staring at the greatest grass court player the game's known. A little intimidating for sure. Might be a slow start here for Cowan. He's got to be nervous.
This is 6th outing at Wimbledon, beaten in the first round his 5 previous appearances until this Monday.
Game Sampras.
A nice, comfortable game for Sampras, coming out of the gates with some good serves. Pretty solid.
And a reminder,
First game.
Complete coverage of the NBA draft coming up tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on TNT. The world traveler, Ernie Johnson, who had been hosting the studio the first couple of days here at Wimbledon, making his way. He'll be hosting the draft proceedings at Madison Square Garden in New York, and I'm told we'll be back with us tomorrow.
And Ernie, a little upset the Concorde is out of service right now.
Yes.
Definitely a little detrimental to his sleep patterns.
Good
effort by EJ. You hear the roar of the crowd as Barry Cowan gets on the board. Wins his first point of the match.
Barry out of Southport, England, now lives in a suburb, actually still lives with his parents.
Although I did read that with the money he's going to be earning here at the championships thus far, I think it's somewhere around, was it £12,500 pounds, somewhere $20,000 US. He's planning on putting a down payment on a flat. So good things happening here no matter what the result in this match. And now 30 love for Cowan. Really important for him to get the first service game in, get it a win, just to calm down a little bit, feel comfortable on the court. Could go very quickly for Sampras. If that does not happen, but wow, nice opening service game for Cowan.
Able to handcuff Sampras.
The only real danger here for Pete, in my mind, is just to come out It'll be a little flat because he figures he can probably play somewhere around 50 to 60% of his capabilities and still cruise through. Pete, not one to really step on a guy's neck and try and win love, love, and love. He's just happy to win comfortably, and I think that's all he's really going to be looking for out here is a comfortable victory. Get one break a set, maybe two, but no, he's not one of these guys who needs to completely annihilate an opponent. He's got his eye on the prize at the end of the tournament.
Let's proceed.
Like we clearly saw last year when he was injured and he would not even run for a lot of balls early in matches and just save it for when he needed it.
So chill out.
And since Wimbledon last year, it has not been a particularly good run for Pete. Lost in the second round of the French, lost recently in the semifinals at Queens. Losing to the eventual champion Leighton Hewitt. This is the first time since back in 1991 that he has not won at least one ATP title coming into Wimbledon.
Been in a couple finals between last year and here, losing, of course, at the U.S. Open final to Marat Safin convincingly, and then a tough match against Andre Agassi out in the desert earlier this year.
Sampras holds serve and has a 2-1 lead.
Leads by 2 games to 1.
Victory for Schalk, and I saw him in the locker room before the match and asked him how his first round matchup was, and he joked that he had an easy run at 7-5 in the 5th. Of course, last year he had the marathon match with Philippoussis, something like 22-20 or 23-21 in the 5th, and 7-5 seemed like a relief for him. So
that's the longest 5th set to date at a Grand Slam tournament during the Open era. Second longest match in recorded history at Wimbledon. Philippoussis and Schalk. Just out.
Sampras trying to find the range, facing his second straight left-hander. Cowan's going to have a little bigger serve than Sampras' first round opponent, Francisco Clavet, did, but not quite as strong all around on the court as Clavet is.
Yeah, this is not the first time that Cowan has played Sampras. The first time was on the practice court 3 years ago. Sampras about to go up against a southpaw, Goran Ivanisevic. Wanted to practice against a left-hander, so Cowan stepped in, did the honors. Always,
if you're a left-hander on tour, there's no shortage of demand for you on the practice courts. You always know your opponents, your partner's going up against a lefty. That's why they're asking.
It's like the middle relief left-handers that hang around the major leagues.
Plenty of service. Pete Sampras didn't play particularly fantastic in his first round match, but he played just well enough to get through comfortably. He had a little tight second set, tiebreaker with Clavet, but managed to get through that. Be nice for Pete in this match to kind of hit his stride a little bit, kind of start closing in on his A game that he knows he'll need at some point in this tournament. Really, this is a great opportunity for Pete to kind of hone in, sharpen up a little bit.
Game, Cowan.
And Barry Cowan hearing the support from the hometown crowd as he has 2 games against the defending champion.
2 games all.
And at 2 games all, the nerves should kind of start to go away, and Cowan should just be playing his normal game, settling right in. Had a couple really nice service games there.
Love 15.
And this might wake Pete Sampras up here if he gets down a couple points on his serve. It certainly is. He better be awake now. A couple great backhand returns by Cowan there. Cowan just a clean winner. See Cowan already standing in the middle of the court guessing Sampras is going to go up the middle, and anticipation paid off for him. Guessed right again on that one, and a little unlucky to catch the tape. And he's right there for it, and that is in his wheelhouse. Pete Sampras put that serve right in the same spot, saying, I don't think you can do it twice in a row. And he was right. A little extra something on that serve, 126 miles an hour.
Hustle by Cowan, but Sampras is in front, 40-30.
Holds 5 straight serve to the backhand in this game. And Cowan guessing forehand there, moving in more into the forehand corner. Lucky for him that clipped the tape.
Again, Sampras.
So they're on serve in this opening set. Sampras up 3-2.
Sampras leads by 3 games to 2.
Been a very supportive crowd for Barry Cowan out of Southport, England, going up against Pete Sampras.
Well, you see Pete Sampras' rankings the last 5 years. Of course, the first 3 years he was finishing up a 6-year run at #1, unprecedented, taking over Connor's record of 5 in a row. Now he's gone all the way down to 6, and Sampras busting a string. That almost went right through. That ball almost went right through his strings. So he'll pick up another one of his rackets. Be ready to go. See some family. Barry Cowan there. Look at that, right in the upper left-hand corner as you're looking. That ball could have easily gone right through his racket. Pete Sampras, notoriously tight stringer of his own racket with very thin gut string. So he's accustomed to breaking strings, but that's a mishit. That's why that ball broke the string so badly right there. It was not in the center of the racket. Getting back to Pete Sampras on the ranking. That took a lot out of him going for the last years. The 6th year to get to #1. He spent about 6 weeks in a row in Europe, which he was not a big fan of at the end of the year, trying to ensure that he would have that ranking. And when he finally did, he found himself exhausted and zapped. And since then, the ranking has become much less of a priority. He shifted his priority to getting number 13 in the slam titles.
15-13.
We see the 3rd double fault.
And as we discussed the other day, his motivation has obviously changed after his marriage to Bridget Wilson. You get the idea that he basically is playing for the Grand Slams, in particular for Wimbledon.
Well, this is where he has his best opportunity to win, for sure. And that's why, because now all of a sudden Pete Sampras kind of lazing his way through this match, and then gets an opportunity. 15-30. And look at this, just steams a forehand and instinctively follows it into the net for an easy knockoff volley winner. So pretty to watch.
Service break. So Sampras now leads 4 games to 2.
Just like that,
4 games to 2.
Cowan plays a couple of good games and throws in a double fault. Sampras hits 2 great returns, and Cowan does very well to get that ball down at Pete's feet, but soft hands by Pete ensures the break. As you know, Marv,
15 love.
Pete and I sat down before the tournament and had a chat for the TNT cameras, and he was very candid about wondering where his motivation was coming from, particularly after last year's U.S. Open finally. He was a little bit in the woods, in the dark, after he finally got the 13th Grand Slam here at Wimbledon, and then he kind of regrouped, made his way into the finals of the U.S. Open, and then Safin really played the match of his career thus far, giving Pete no chance. And after that, Pete was wandering. He got married. Tennis wasn't the priority that it was before. And I think it took him a while to figure out, okay, what am I playing for now? You know, I've got so many records besides the French Open. What else is there really for me to play for? And I think the answer to that question is to just keep adding Grand Slam titles. Davis Cup is not a priority. He's not playing any more of that. It's just all about the slams.
I think he wanted to spend more time at Staples Center watching the Lakers, where he is a season ticket holder.
Hanging out with you.
40-15.
Not necessarily that, but he was seen frequently at courtside.
You know, there was a big shift in Pete when he decided he was going to move away from Florida, and we'll get back to this if he holds serve here. He lived in Tampa, and that was a big statement for him to leave California, leave his friends and his family, and move to Florida. That signaled his commitment to tennis. And we'll touch on that when we come back. Sampras 5-2 comfortably in the first set. We'll be right back.
New balls, please.
To Wimbledon on day number 3. A check of what is taking place at center court. All Brit get together, and Tim Henman having his way against Martin Lee. Todd Martin winning the 3rd set against Yuri Novak.
Up an early break, 1-0 serving at 40 love is Todd Martin, so his chances looking up a little bit out on court 18.
And here on court 1, Sampras taking command with a 5-2 edge in this opening set, facing the left-hander out of Great Britain, Barry Cowan. I mentioned Martin Lee, who has been working with a sports psychologist by the name of Gloria Budd. And Lee, who's playing Henman, gives her credit for his newfound serenity. In fact, Barry Cowan working with the same sports psychologist last few weeks. Might be a little early for instant results.
Possibly, but we did see a picture in the London Times front page, as a matter of fact, of Barry Cowan playing his first round match and listening to a Walkman, listening to some music on the changeovers, probably just trying to keep his mind at ease, find his happy place.
Happy place.
Find his happy place.
I recall a player who used to read books.
Oh yeah, only when I was
between sets.
Only when I was suicidal when I read books. Tennis can drive you nuts sometimes.
Martin Lee had a different kind of problem, though, smashing rackets, which he's trying to keep under control.
Perhaps Marat Safin should be consulting with Gloria as well.
Well, with Lee, the over and under 20 rackets per match.
All right, double set point for Pete Sampras here. Just 20 minutes into the first set.
Let's first service.
Safin, 20 rackets could be a week for him.
Pete
taking a look at that service call. Not really sure, but as the shadows creep across the court, a little harder for everyone to see. But Cyclops calling the service lines is not affected by the shadows. A little bit casual with that first volley there. This one right at the Sampras body, and Sampras has it right on his racket. And he's not going to miss that very often, but that one right in the middle of the net. And that's Pete Sampras' first unforced error of the match.
Advantage Cowan.
And Barry Cowan with his first ace.
Game. Cowan
follows it right up.
Cowan with back-to-back aces, able to ward off Sampras at least for the moment. 5-3 lead, and
Sampras leads by 5 games to 3.
Sampras will serve.
What I was touching on before we went to commercial break, Pete Sampras now has moved back to Los Angeles, to his hometown.
Led for service.
For the first time really getting a life outside of tennis. Married, going to Lakers games. Really, there's no way that Pete Sampras would have been able to maintain mentally that same focus and dedication and single-mindedness that he had when he was living in Tampa. I think if he wants to stay in the game for a long time, it's smart for him to get a life outside of tennis. That way he can be fresh when he comes back to the game. I think it's more important for Pete Sampras to be around for many, many years than it is for him to be number one more year. Now he's quickly out to a 30-love lead here, 2 points from the first set. Oh my goodness. Don't hear a foot fault call on Pete Sampras too often. I think the lineman is trying to get into the act, you know, figuring this match might go quickly. I've got to get my 2 cents in. So 3 set points for Pete Sampras.
Sampras now 8 for 8 on second serves.
Game. And first set,
And
Sampras.
that concludes matters. Third ace for Sampras, who has taken the first set. Obviously, Barry Cowan trying to find that serenity we were discussing a moment ago.
Trying to find his happy place, no question.
Losing the first set, 6-3. Second set underway, 15 love.
I think regardless of what happens, Barry Cowan will be very satisfied with his Wimbledon performance, getting through a round, getting an opportunity to play against Pete Sampras. Nice deep volley there, hitting the line. And then a smart move, just dropped it off short.
Barry Cowan coming in with a world ranking of 265. We mentioned earlier he's spent his 9 years as a pro on the satellite challenger tours. It's been a grind. In fact, he talks about a tournament that he was in Bangladesh while staying in a, as he put it, a rat-infested hotel. It cost $5 per night. Jim, that did include cable television.
Oh my goodness. Cable and rats included. You know, that's a far cry from court 1 at Wimbledon. You know, not so glamorous on the way up oftentimes. Some guys like Pete Sampras are very lucky. They don't have to grind. They don't have to go to India. They don't have to go to tough places to play. For every Pete Sampras, there are probably 10 guys out there right now grinding away somewhere in the world where they'd rather not be. In India and had a lovely time, but we weren't staying in a $5 a day hotel, I can assure you, with the U.S. Davis Cup team. Just tough conditions out there in the smaller tournaments for guys.
30-14.
And that's the fourth double fault for Cowan. This match 29 minutes old, moving along in methodical fashion for Pete Sampras.
And a quick break point here in the first game of the second. Oh, and that's a miserable forehand. Sampras just putting that ball back in play, and Cowan just really unsure what to do with it.
Second set. First set, Sampras.
And we see Pete Sampras' draw, and these are the seeds. Harold Levy is gone, so Pete Sampras really has a nice move to get out into a fourth-round potential matchup with Bjorkman or Federer. Henman, of course, at the bottom of your screen. Close center court right now, seemingly cruising. Todd Martin trying to fight his way. He's up 3-2. Service break out there on the outside court. So really the big danger for Pete Sampras here, the big name would be Tim Henman. Pete Sampras owns him here at this tournament.
Henman up 2 sets to love. Center court up a break.
Love 15.
Sampras hadn't lost a match to Henman until last summer, Marv. Henman got him in your favorite tournament, you told me, Cincinnati.
Yes.
Henman taking a lot of confidence from that match, but Cincinnati, 2 out of 3 sets, hard courts. 3 out of 5 grass here at Wimbledon.
Yes, Henman made it to the semifinals here at Wimbledon in 98, 99, and both times was defeated by Sampras.
Really his Achilles heel here. If not for Sampras, I'm starting to get the feeling that Tim Henman is a little bit like Andres Gomez was back at the French Open with Yvonne Lendl. Gomez, one of the better clay court players in the world, and Lendl just had his number, and every year Lendl seemed like he beat him there, and then one year Lendl lost. Gomez was 30 years old. Managed to win his title, beating a very young Andre Agassi in the final.
40-15.
That's number 5. 5 aces for Sampras. Anyone have your number that you care to discuss?
This guy you're looking at, you were just looking at a moment ago, Pete Sampras, was the guy I had the most trouble with.
But that's understandable. It's not like that's not a surprise.
Right.
Game, Sampras.
He was the guy. I'm just going to let that comment pass, Mark.
Sampras leads by 2 games to
I got Pete a few times, but Pete got me when it counted the most, it seemed like, in the finals here, clearly. And, you know, his game just, there's some guys who match up better against others, and his game was tougher for me. I always played well against Agassi, always played well against Chang, but against Pete, I just tended to struggle. His serve was just really difficult for me to get a handle on. And we didn't get to play on clay too often, although I beat him once in the French Open, and he beat me once there.
15 love.
I know you and Pete are pretty good friends, but when you were at that competitive level, did that change a bit?
Well, it definitely put a little bit of a wrench in the friendship, because when you're playing finals and semifinals of major tournaments that you both desperately want, it's hard to be as close as you were. We were always friends, but when we first came on tour, we ate every meal together. We played doubles together. It was just, it was a little different. It was kind of us against the world, and then it became 1 against 1, really, in effect, after a while.
Pete complaining that you never did pick up a check, incidentally.
That is so far from the truth. Pete Sampras, he's got short arms and deep pockets.
15.
I'm aware of that. I just wanted to get you going.
Deep pockets, short arms. That guy, you know, everyone picks his check up in L.A. He's a superstar. He has to pay for a meal. I'm kidding. I love you, Pete.
That's 5 double faults for Barry Cowan. Barry Cowan's biggest
30-15.
moments in tennis, earned a spot on the British Olympic tennis squad in Sydney last summer. Also made the British Davis Cup squad.
40-15.
Nice serve there. Those are good accomplishments all.
Coming up in in just a moment. Mary Carrillo in the studio for Ernie Johnson. Will be hosting the NBA draft coverage following our Wimbledon telecast at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And Mary will be talking with the 18-year-old sensation, Andy Roddick.
Game, Cowan.
Coming up shortly. So Sampras now up 2-1
Sampras leads by 2
in the
games to 1.
second set.
Second set.
The court number 1 as Pete Sampras looks to build on the lead against Barry Cowan of Great Britain. Sampras winning the first set.
Oh, nifty little backhand return by Cowan gets him to 30 love on Pete Sampras' serve, but bad news for Barry Cowan. It's down 2 breaks already in the second set, and the match is starting to get away from him.
Let's first service.
Solid serve up the middle, 121 miles an hour for Pete Sampras. And don't you just love listening to Andy Roddick in the interview, Marv?
What a great attitude.
Oh, man.
Pete Sampras has been saying that
Andy
Roddick is the future of American tennis. As mentioned earlier, Roddick beat Sampras at the Ericsson in Miami.
Sure did. Well, look at Pete slide across the court gracefully and knock that volley off. You know, Todd Martin before the tournament was speaking about Pete's movement, saying he didn't think Pete was moving as well at the net. Already in the second round, though, Pete, that's pretty handy. Be a lot of teenage girls here in England and back in the States paying attention to Andy Roddick's denial of having a girlfriend on tour. And that's a nice backhand. Cowan really hitting a couple of nice shots there on that side. Yep, just late enough, as we like to say.
Mary Carrillo trying to go for the social angle with Andy Roddick.
Advantage Sampras.
Andy's given us a lot to talk about. So much hype surrounding him and just backing it up every step of the way.
Game, Sampras.
So Pete Sampras with his 10th service ace. And it is now a 5-1 lead in the second set.
We're only 45 minutes in here. This is a little more common on the women's side of the draw to see a match going this quickly.
And Cowan actually was on the board in that opening set. He did get 3 games from Sampras.
Oh, he was in decent shape there, and a couple quick points. When Pete sensed an opening, all of a sudden, that was it. He hadn't had a sniff since. And Pete's starting to open up his game a little bit. This is just a nice little segue for Pete through the draw, just kind of shifting from second gear into third gear, working his way up, making sure all the moving parts are functional for when he'll need it later in the tournament.
Sampras winning his opening round match on Monday over another southpaw, Francisco Clavet of Spain. Did it in straight sets.
Oh, now Pete's just smoothing it out a little bit, just taking a 104-mile-an-hour serve and following it in. A little chip and charge. Yeah, he's on cruise control right now. Wow. And a forehand now. 3 set points for Pete
Love
Sampras
14.
to take the second set. Unstoppable. Does anyone remember that Pete was in a slump here a little while ago, or have we forgotten already? Amazing how quickly he can make you forget that once he steps on these courts here at the All England Club.
He had come into Wimbledon with the longest drought of his professional career. But you can throw that out.
Just so what?
And Barry Cowan answers with his 4th ace.
30-40.
Just flies out a little long. And we'll go back to deuce. Nice grass court tennis here by Cowan. Good return by Sampras. That's a low return. And Cowan decides to take aggression. Pete hits a good passing shot and really had that one on his strings, just a little too much. Well, that's good tennis by Cowan to pull himself out of this game.
Looking to turn it from the
Advantage Cowan.
15-40 deficit.
Game Cowan.
And Cowan able to hold serve. So Sampras now leads 5-2 in this second set.
Pete Sampras holding the trophy here on a Sunday in July. Marv, you were commenting on the wonderful wave the crowd has
A moment ago, yes.
performing here.
Oh.
Yes, I know how much you enjoy that.
Let first service.
Apparently they're catching up with that particular tradition here in London. We will look in shortly on Todd Martin's 5th set. Earlier, Andy Roddick advanced, as did Jennifer Capriati. We'll continue our Wimbledon coverage here on TNT until 7 o'clock Eastern Time. That to be followed by the NBA draft from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Big question. Who will the Washington Wizards take with that #1 pick, unless there was some development we do not know about here?
I smell a trade.
My former partner, Doug Collins, now involved with Michael Jordan. I tried to help Doug with personnel moves these past few weeks, and I told him, I'm just a phone call away here.
Game in second set, Sampras.
And that is the second set. So Sampras up 2 sets to love.
Of mind that he knows what to do when crunch time comes around.
Deuce.
And he's got to figure that he's going to do it better than Barry Cowan in general when the big moments come. So now we're back at deuce. 3rd set. An hour and 25 minutes into this match.
It's a quick moving match.
Advantage Sampras.
And that is his 20th ace.
Yeah, with 20 aces, only 9 unforced errors. It's going to go quickly out there. Not going to be a lot of rallies on the grass court. Not with these two guys.
Game Sampras. New balls, please.
So the 4 apiece in this 3rd set.
4 games on. 3rd set.
So they'll break 6 new balls out for Barry Cowan to serve with. Pete Sampras got some new strings, a new racket in his hand here. I always like to change my racket if I could somewhere around when new balls were coming out to tighten up my strings, because the balls are a little lighter right when they come out of the can. They haven't picked up any moisture from the ground. And a wee bit outside.
15 left.
Well, the Williams sisters at center court, defending champions. Ladies doubles, up 5-1 in the first.
Let's for service.
Nice to see them playing here after pulling out in the French Open. Oh, Cowan wants a call on that one. Cannot believe.
15 all.
The point for Sampras, 15 apiece. Enric Molina of Spain, the man in the chair. We get another look at it.
It's a nasty angle, but I'm not so sure. I'd be arguing that one myself if I was Barry Cowan.
From our angle, looked like it did nip the line. And Cowan right back.
Gets that one out of his mind with a crushing overhead. A little bit of anger in that one.
40-15.
Ace number 9 for Barry Cowan. On Monday, defeated fellow Brit Mark Hilton in straight sets to draw this matchup. Pete Sampras.
Well, a little careless with that one. Probably took his eye off the ball when he saw Sampras in the corner there. Still got 40-30, but really should have made this volley. Really nice first volley. And this one he's got right on his racket and just doesn't finish the swing.
Game. Cowan.
Beautiful serve by Cowan. And he's taken the lead 5-4 in the third. Well, Barry Cowan of Southport, England, surprising a lot of folks, hanging in with this good performance in the third set.
15 left.
He leads Sampras 5-4. Sampras winning the first 2 sets 6-3, 6-2.
Well done. Coming forward, taking a lot of risk with that one, but leaned in there nicely. And a guess is
15 all.
And that's just a pretty volley. And why not? Not a lot of success breaking Sampras thus far. Might as well take some chances. You never know what can happen. Cowan is yet to reach a break point on Pete Sampras, so obviously what he's been doing hasn't been working, so might as well give it a shot. I like the fact that he's been moving his turn position around, changing it up a little bit. Sometimes you give your opponent a different look, might throw him off a little bit. He might give you a few double faults or miss a serve. At this stage in his career, Pete Sampras has seen just about everything.
Yes, he would be very difficult to rattle.
I don't think it's possible.
It's 21 service aces for Sampras.
Another foot fault call. It's pretty rare. Welcome to the match, linesman.
Game. Sampras.
They are even at 5 in this third set.
5 against all.
There's a look at court 1. Relatively new addition here at Wimbledon, and a very fine one. A spacious court. Pete Sampras won't be too upset about having to come out here away from center court.
Incredibly for Pete Sampras, that is the 115th consecutive hold on serve. You go back to the match against Justin Gimelstob, third round here last year.
Wow, what a passing shot on top of holding all those service games. This guy's got shots like this to break you. It's a fair volley, not a great one, but that's a great passing shot. And here it is, 5-all in the set, and all of a sudden Pete Sampras has come to life on the return to serve. A couple nice returns, a passing shot. That's Barry Cowan's mother. Looks like she's having a word with someone upstairs here.
Are you talking about our producer, Howard?
Absolutely. Well, he's downstairs, actually, in the production suite, but fine volley. A good pickup. And that's not a firm volley, but it doesn't matter because look how deep it was. And then Cowan does the wise thing and closes the net off. Sampras not known as someone who lobs frequently. So a smart move to get in tight there. And like we saw with Todd Martin
15-14.
a little while ago, Cowan lets that one go. Although that one was going to be a more difficult volley, high backhand volley. He still could have gotten that volley off cross court, no problem. And you see the chalk fly.
Thought it would sail wide. So 15-40, double break point.
Right on the line.
Beautiful point for Barry Cowan.
You see his mother smiling there above him. And a volley right on the line. Sampras gets that lob over his head. Cowan with a fantastic forehand and follows it up with a cross-court passing shot. That's clean tennis under pressure.
Did not like the toss. And wisely let that one go.
That one was not so close.
Deuce.
So back to deuce. 2 break points, in effect match points saved. Sampras has been so long since he's been broken, not likely to be broken if he serves for this match.
That's service ace number 11 for Cowan.
Advantage Cowan.
Cowan looking to possibly get this one into a tiebreaker if he can win this one and Sampras holds serve as expected.
Game Cowan.
So Cowan holding serve. Sampras thought it was out.
Well, Sampras heard the Cyclops go off, so he's wondering what happened, but the umpire calls game Cowan, and once that happens, the game is over. So we'll be back.
Popular player here at Wimbledon, no question. This crowd has been rooting for the hometown favorite, Barry Cowan. who has the very difficult task of doing what has to be considered the impossible, breaking Pete Sampras to avoid a tiebreaker.
At this point, his best hope might be to have these lines people keep calling foot faults on Sampras when he hits an ace like he just did. It's a foot faults call, so he has to go to a second serve. And Sampras makes that look so easy, and that is so difficult. A ball that's down at your feet and sliding low on a grass court, and Pete just picks it up and it doesn't even look like he's trying, and puts it in the corner, and all of a sudden you go from thinking I had a great return to now having to hit a passing shot. As if it's not hard enough to get his serve back. He backs it up so well.
So we're a point away from a tiebreak.
That's when I hear a stat like Pete not getting broken at Wimbledon like this, that I wonder why he doesn't choose to serve and volley as much on the clay, why he tries to stay back with the ground strokers.
Sampras.
So we will go to the tiebreak in this third set. Crowds really enjoy this match. They did not expect this much from Barry Cowan.
I wouldn't think so, but they would be hoping to see as much tennis as possible here. I think there's any more matches scheduled out on this court, so the longer this match goes, the better for the fans, and clearly they want this man to do well, Barry Cowan. He's put up a very respectable showing thus far. He's got himself 1-0 in the tiebreak.
He will be on the back page and perhaps front page of the tabloids tomorrow for giving Sampras a run.
Absolutely.
Barry Cowan with a world ranking of 265. And facing the defending champion, this man, Pete Sampras, has won it 7 times here at Wimbledon, including the last 4, 7 of the last 8, gunning for a 5th in a row beyond Borg, won 5 straight 21 years ago. Record of the Open era.
You think about watching Bjorn Borg and thinking how difficult that was to do, and Pete would have winning this year matched that plus another 3-peat before that. Remarkable.
2-1.
Now Sampras puts his nose in front, 2-1. No breaks of serve thus far in the tiebreak. Every point really like a break point, though, the tiebreak. Nice first serve, 103 miles an hour, out wide, too much for Sampras to handle. Cowan with a 1-0 tiebreak record this year. Those would be on the main tour. Probably hasn't played a whole lot of main tour tennis this year, coming into Wimbledon.
Excellent serve to the backhand by Cowan, who now leads 3-2.
3-2. Cowan.
And at this point, if I'm Barry Cowan, I'm probably going to guess which side Pete Sampras is going to serve to. Okay, which way do I think Pete's going to go? Well, he's been going a lot to my backhand. Maybe I'll guess middle, see what happens.
Oh.
And that's why my personal record, wasn't so good against Pete Sampras, but Cowan has had a lot of success with the inside-out backhand against Pete, so Pete stores that knowledge in his mind and takes him out wide. The reverse psychology levels it at 3. See the Union Jack next to the American flag. peacefully getting along. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very diplomatic crowd here.
The allies.
And Cowan with a 4-3 lead in the tiebreak, looking to extend Pete Sampras to a 4th set.
And that's a fine return, and that's the one that Sampras has been
4-3.
successful at picking up and
Cowan.
taking down the line, but Cowan a little extra oomph on that one. No, he's got a couple of serves in pocket here to take a 6-3 lead. And there's one of them right there. 12th ace. Could not come at a better time.
For Pete Sampras
5-3.
in a
Cowan.
hole down 5-3. And you can hear the rooting interest for Barry Cowan.
And Pete just got jammed with that serve. Guessed wrong. Not that he probably would have had much to say with that short reply. And now, 3 set points for Barry Cowan.
6-3.
And there, his
Cowan.
mother sits and watches.
Please.
Oh, not very good when the crowd cries out midpoint, but Sampras handles
6-4.
that
Cowan.
with the plum.
It is now 6-5 Cowan, who will serve.
Cowan has himself where he
6-5.
wants to be. He's got the
Cowan.
serve coming for set point. And the crowd is trying to lift him up.
Game on third set. Cowan.
Barry Cowan extends Pete Sampras to a 4th set. Standing ovation for Cowan. Barry Cowan may not come away with the victory against Pete Sampras, but it's been a heroic effort as we move on to the 4th set following the tiebreak victory for Cowan. Sampras opening up this 4th set with an ace, and it's 30-love.
On the changeover, standing ovation from the crowd for Barry Cowan. Just another David and Goliath situation here.
This is a career highlight
Without a
for
doubt.
Cowan, who, as we touched on earlier, has spent his 9 years as a pro on the Satellite and the Challenger tours.
Apart from getting his yearly wild card here at Wimbledon,
40-15.
as a Brit, has been given the opportunity to play without having to go through qualifying. But definitely a career highlight today.
He said his biggest moment in tennis coming into this tournament, earning a spot on the Olympic tennis squad of Sydney last summer, then made the British Davis Cup team. And that's just making the team.
Making the team, but a great honor. Says you're one of the top 4, 5, 6 players in your nation.
Game Sampras.
And Sampras takes the first game, and they'll switch sides, but keep playing. And on the changeover,
4th set.
Barry Cowan, like we talked about earlier, with the Walkman on and covering himself. listening to music. Perhaps it's something that his sports psychologist is saying, talking to him. Maybe it's music he wouldn't say in the press conference what he was listening to. Could be a motivational tape of some sort. Could be Marv's favorite band, Pink Floyd.
Absolutely.
Don't know.
He has been working with a sports psychologist the past few weeks. Says it's helped his game. Might be some other players checking out on his sports, checking out who his sports psychologist is.
If I'm Barry Cowan, I'm protecting that disc man with my life when I get back to the locker room.
He's
definitely got a little pep in the step right now, Barry Cowan. And why not? Even if he loses in 4 sets, to take a set off of Pete Sampras out here in front of the home crowd, no one would have given him much of a chance to even accomplish that out here today. That much of an underdog on paper.
This is 6th appearance at Wimbledon. He was knocked out in the first round. His 5 previous did win this Monday to advance to the second round match, beating fellow Brit Mark Hilton in straight sets.
Fellow wild card, Mark Hilton. Cruising out to a 40-love lead to tie the score up here at 1-all. 4th set. Approaching the 2-hour mark in this match.
Game Cowan.
And Sampras unable to put a dent in the Cowan serve in the opening game.
1 game all. 4th set.
And over on center court just moments ago, the Williams sisters winning their opening doubles match, 6-1, 6-1. Serena and Venus move on.
Putting a couple of breadsticks out there, 6-1, 6-1.
Talk about
the bagel every now and then for the 6 love sets. Let's not shortchange the breadsticks.
Spend much time on this?
Courtesy my friend Bob Weber from Ohio came up with that little nugget for me. Just trying to keep things modern here.
I see.
We are in a new era at Wimbledon. Match times have moved to 1 o'clock. We can refer to 6-1 as a breadstick.
Seem to have a complex about it. We buy it, Jim. It's all right.
I think he's got that one under control. So not much trouble for either player on serve thus far in this set.
Pete always excels at the net.
Yes, he does.
Game, Sampras.
And it is ace number 24 for Sampras. He has a 2-1 lead in the 4th. Yesterday, 85. The previous day, 77 the high here today, although they do expect some rain.
Well, if we can just hang in here, keep the rain away for another hour or so. It's about all the daylight that is left for tennis today. That would be nice, and Pete Sampras would definitely like to secure this 4th set and not have to come back to play a 5th set, which would most likely happen if they do split these 2 sets, given the late hour. They would come back and finish this match tomorrow. It's not what Pete Sampras will be looking for.
Sampras up 2-1. Barry Cowan taking the third set in the tiebreak.
Both returners struggling right now to make anything happen on the opponent's serve.
Once again, Cowan surprising Sampras.
Nice 115-mile-an-hour serve into the Sampras forehand. And then that one goes into the body. And also 115. And then 1 point against serve in this set. First service percentages very nice in this set. Really no pressure at all imposed by the returner. So now 2-all. Right around the 2-hour mark.
Talking earlier about the fact that Cowan did practice with Sampras about 3 years ago. It's kind of a warm-up for Pete, who was looking to prepare for another southpaw, Goran Ivanisevic. Wanted to practice against a left-hander. Barry Cowan was available. You wonder if Cowan picked up anything during the course of that practice.
Well, the problem for Cowan is Pete Sampras is probably the worst practice player on tour to practice with. Pete gives you no rhythm whatsoever in practice. Very little effort usually in practice.
15.
He just goes out and wants to get a sweat. He cares none about what happens in the match. So I don't think there's a lot to be gleaned from a practice session with Pete Sampras other than a lot of frustration.
Were you a good practice player?
I was a good practice player. I usually gave a pretty good effort, and I figured out quickly to stop practicing with Pete because it was detrimental to my game. Look at this. All of a sudden, love 30 on Pete Sampras' serve. Hasn't dropped too many points at all coming into this service game thus far this set. And now, a real opportunity for Barry Cowan. And that's going to go wide. And look out. The crowd really given an opportunity to get behind their man right now.
14.
And Pete Sampras, you know, a fantastic draw in this tournament. But the danger of having a really good draw is to take it a little too lightly. And he's going to have to start taking Cowan seriously now.
15-40.
15-14.
And that was Cowan's first break point of the match. Still 2 to come.
And Cowan.
And that does it for the streak that we mentioned earlier in the match. Pete Sampras with 120 consecutive holes of serve. That is over. Cowan with a 3-2 lead in the fourth. Barry Cowan with a 3-2 lead on Pete Sampras in this fourth set. And Pete's game has really fallen off.
I think he was just surprised to lose that tiebreak. And he played some solid service games, but that last one, just Cowan rose to the occasion. You know, winner on break point to break that streak you were talking about, Marv. Wouldn't have picked Barry Cowan to break it, but that's the guy. You're looking right at him. Oh, is that spectacular. Sampras kind of stutter stepping, thinking that the volley here, we'll see Cowan's volley clip the tape. So Pete, a little stutter step, accelerates.
15-0.
And that is a cute angle.
Cute?
It
Or
is
acute?
a cute angle,
I see.
or a cute angle.
I see.
Take it whichever way you like, Marv. Barry Cowan is playing with so much confidence right now.
30-15.
This is a match that has just moved past the 2-hour mark. Sampras taking the first set 6-3, second set 6-2. Looked to be another methodical Pete Sampras victory. And how things turn in set number 3 as Cowan won the tiebreak, and Cowan has a 3-2 lead in this 4th set.
A 3-2 lead with the magic words "with the break," which we haven't heard in a Pete Sampras match for a long time against Pete Sampras. Now 30-all. Danger here for Cowan is giving that break right back, having a letdown.
Let's for service.
And he would have had to turn up the volume on his Discman on the changeover to get it over the crowd level.
I think Barry Cowan is saying to himself, let's just stop right here. I mean, this is like living out a dream. There's no need to go any further than this.
Well, the best case scenario for Barry Cowan right here is to win this set and be able to sleep on it overnight.
Yes.
I don't think, unless he were to win 3 games very, very quickly, I don't think we're going to see a 5th set today.
Deuce.
That is his 8th double fall. So they're at deuce.
I like the way he's swinging the racket now, Cowan, though. He's really swinging through everything. Just you feel the confidence. That last double fault was not a tentative double fault. He hit it. It was 104 miles an hour. So in my mind, that's a good miss. A bad miss. If you're going to miss now, you want to miss going for something. You want to miss trying to create an opening, and that was just a shot to get the ball back in play, a neutral shot, if you will. Now Sampras has a break point to get right back in this 4th set. And that was not close. Only 101 miles an hour.
It is back to deuce.
There was a whole lot of tape in that point. Cowan's ball clipping the net right here. It clips the tape and goes over. Sampras's ball clips the top, but it goes straight down. Good break for the Brit. Sampras only 3 of 16 on break points.
Another
advantage Sampras.
Costly double fault for Cowan.
You know, at some point, those good misses, they're just misses. You can't keep giving Pete Sampras break point and hope for the best. So Sampras gets a look at a second serve here. Let's see if Pete tries to apply some pressure here, get into the net. Oh, there's nothing he's going to do but watch that go by. 103 miles an hour out wide for his 13th ace, and what a better time. Right in the corner. I mean, there's nobody in the building that was thinking that was going to happen. Except for Barry Cowan.
You know, early on, there's no pressure at all on Barry Cowan. Now, he's met the pressure, and he's handling it.
He's handling it. There's still really no pressure on him. No one expects him to win. Maybe he's thinking in his mind, now I have an outside shot. I mean, I'm in this match. I'm competing. Very, very well. Cowan, 4-2 in the fourth set. That score is not a misprint.
This is Barry Cowan, who is ranked number 265 in the world against one of the greats of all time, Pete Sampras.
And none of that matters today, because Barry Cowan is getting it done where it counts on the court. Throw all these papers away. Once you step onto the court, anything can happen. And they're out there on the hill, just outside this court one, watching on the big screen.
So Cowan with a 4-2 lead in the fourth set, hoping to extend to a fifth set here on court one, a set that might not be played until tomorrow with those skies looking ominous. It's getting darker here. We're just past 8 o'clock in London. Looks like rain is going to hit us.
It's about time. Weather's been amazing since we've been here.
Sampras with his 25th ace.
Now Pete Sampras has got to be wondering what's going on in his mind. Had this match so well in hand going into the tiebreak in the third set, and then it just vanished away from him so quickly. Now it's down a break in the fourth against a guy he's supposed to routine.
Sampras.
So Pete Sampras now trailing 4-3 in the fourth. Of your screen, a look at the famed hill. It is packed. They're checking out this match on the big screen. And it looks like as Cowan is able to blast ace number 14, looks like the sun is creeping through.
Well, it's certainly shining on Barry Cowan right now. This is his moment. It may not be sun directly on the court. Cowan's hotting up, as they like to say over here. What a promo for the sports psychologist he's working with.
Well, Martin Lee, working with the same sports psychologist, lost straight sets earlier. Tim Henman, 40 love. As Cowan looks to move in front 5-3 in this fourth set.
Sampras moved a little early there.
14-15.
Cowan saw it. Maybe he was going cross court and decided to take it down the line. Just a little too much on that. You see Sampras now goes, and then Cowan just a little bit of a yip there, as they say in golf. Still 40-15 though. And that will do that. Well, Cowan now 1 game away from sending us into a deciding fifth set. And at 11 minutes past 8, facing the distinct possibility that we will see this fifth set if it does happen
leads by
today.
5-3, fourth set.
Throw another number at you. Pete Sampras, 4-0 in 5-set matches here at Wimbledon. Perhaps it's the move over to court one. from center court.
15 love.
Pete not accustomed to playing here.
I don't think we can really give too much credit to the court. I think we have to give it to Barry Cowan. It's not that Pete has made a slew of unforced errors. Cowan has come up with some really quality tennis.
30 love.
Barry getting encouragement from his many new friends here in the crowd.
Well, if he wins this match, he will be quite popular. It's funny how many people come out of the woodwork for a winner.
It is 40 love.
40 love.
Pete Sampras' career record on grass, 97-16 losses. 97-16 with 10
Game
titles.
Sampras.
So ace number 26 for Sampras. Barry Cowan is hearing the applause from this packed house at court 1, hoping to close out Pete Sampras in this 4th set to send it to a 5th and final set. He's up 5-4, trailing 2-1.
Let's visit.
And a big serve answered with authority by Pete Sampras.
Ball 15.
He's going to need a few more of those.
Let's visit.
Cowan's been going at the Sampras body quite frequently in the set with his serve.
Right down the line for ace number 15.
15-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, is playing grass court tennis. I mean, that is a good serve, a really solid first volley, and then what a stab. And this volley is deep, and it is hit firmly, and that is athleticism.
30-15.
2 points, sending us to a 5th set. With number 1 seed Pete Sampras. And now just 1.
I would think Pete Sampras is thinking at about this time, I was going to sit down and have dinner. And here he is still out on the court, facing the possibility of going the distance with Barry Cowan.
And these games have gone so quickly on serve this set that in only 8:17 local time, looks like they're going to continue on if Cowan can win one of these next 2 points.
Set. Cowan.
Barry Cowan extends Pete Sampras to a 5th set.
6-4.
As Barry's parents, standing ovation again for Barry Cowan. On to the 5th and final set.
30 love.
Pete Sampras taking the first 2 points. Barry Cowan, though, has been the story. 26-year-old from Southport, England. guy who's ranked number 265th in the world. Spent his 9 years as a professional, strictly as on the Challenger and Satellite Tour.
Now he's taken the game's greatest grass court player into a 5th set here in his home country. How huge is this?
Let's first service.
Had a shot of the crowd outside court 1. Can't get into court 1 because it's capacity. Watching on the Jumbotron out there.
Jim, you have seen other, as a look at the crowd on the hill, you've seen situations like this, journeyman type players able to rise to the moment.
Sampras.
Sampras takes the first game, but you wonder, why isn't he able to do this from time to, we're not even saying frequently, how about from time to time?
Well, this is just a special occasion. You get out there on a court like this with Pete Sampras and you've got nothing to lose. It's easy to play freely. When you've got pressure on your shoulders, when you're trying to make a paycheck week to week, it's a different story. Barry Cowan, if he loses this match, as we see Paul Annacone, Pete's coach, with his typical unaffected look. Paul never gives you a different look, whether Pete's winning 6-0 or whatever.
Similar to his player.
Right, and I think Pete does like that about Paul. He likes that Paul is very consistent up in the stands. Likes that peace of mind when he looks up there.
Low 15.
But back to the subject of Cowan. Cowan has absolutely nothing to lose out here. Everything is upside for him. Everything. So it's no surprise that these situations occur from time to time, because why not? Pete Sampras has that shot in the arsenal when he needs it. Doesn't use it too often, but now Sampras up 30 love on Cowan's serve.
30.
Trying to do something he couldn't do in the last set. And that was break Barry Cowan. The last 2 sets, as a matter of fact. And that is a fine shot off of a weak shot from Barry Cowan. Cowan really could have done a lot more. He had every option. Could have hit a drop shot here, but he hits it right in the middle of the court, right into Pete Sampras' wheelhouse. And Pete doesn't make a mistake with that one. 3 break points.
Out. Again, Sampras.
Just out. And Sampras, pumping the fist, something we do not see too frequently, has taken a 2-love lead
Sampras leads by 2
in this 5th set.
That was not a pump that you see very often from Pete Sampras. When he brings it out, he usually is yelling with it. He's usually really with his fist. That was more of a casual one, like, okay, you know, this has been an aberration. It's time for me to settle in and close this thing out. That was more what that said to me.
Low 15.
How about that? 7th double fault by Sampras.
Well, he tried to put a little extra mustard on that one. That was 115 miles an hour. Perhaps trying to send a message that, you know what, Barry, you've had a good run, but your time has come.
And Sampras successfully going wide.
15 all.
We are live here at Wimbledon, coming up 8:30 local time. In what has been a major surprise, it appeared that Pete Sampras was on his way to an easy victory over hometown favorite Barry Cowan. After winning the first 2 sets, and then things turn. Cowan
30-15.
in a tie-break, taking the 3rd set convincingly, taking the 4th. And now we're on to a 5th set with Sampras up 2-love.
That is exactly why Barry Cowan is alive in the 5th set. He's come up with some really nice shots off of Pete's serve.
30
That was a big one. 30-all.
We were discussing a moment ago the travels of Cowan, how he has struggled over his 9-year career. This year he has played in Bangladesh, Israel, and Singapore. Those are not exactly
40-30.
the hotspot stops on the tour.
Not yet. There's a tour event in Singapore, but that doesn't fall until later in the year. And they are maybe not the primo spots, but they're certainly hot spots.
Yes, nice cities to visit, yes.
And they are warm. Very warm. Sampras on the last point, bringing some heat. 115-mile-an-hour second serve.
Game, Sampras.
Sampras holds serve. He's up 3-love in the 5th.
New ball.
Welcome back to Wimbledon. Barry Cowan serving to Pete Sampras, now trailing 3-love in the 5th.
Love.
Flyer on that forehand. I remember talking to Paul Annacone, Pete Sampras' coach, last year about Pete's mindset coming into the tournament, and Pete was a little unsure of himself coming in, and Paul was reiterating to Pete to remember who you are, remember how many times you've been here and done this. Something that Steffi Graf was told later in her career by her coach, Heinz Guntart. Sometimes even the champions forget, get caught up in the moment.
And last year did not come easy for Sampras, playing with the tendonitis in his left shin foot from the 2nd round on.
Oops. A little framage and a nice smile by Barry Cowan. I'm lucky he didn't get hit with this one. We'll watch this ball. This does not touch a whole lot of string, folks.
30-15.
And that angle, my goodness.
A protective move by Cowan.
That's a nice touch by Sampras. And you're right, Marv, that's exactly why Pete Sampras was being told to remember who he was, because he was doubting with his injury whether he could do it. And Paul just said, you know, you've done it so many times before. You know how to do this. People are afraid of you. Don't beat yourself. And he didn't. He hung in there. Oh, that's beautiful. A little more hop, and Pete Sampras after that one hits that one, gives a little skip step.
30-40.
And now he's got break point to put this match away. Give himself 2 breaks and a 4-love lead in the 5th, and you can pull the curtains down on Barry Cowan at Wimbledon if he loses this point.
Cowan's had some trouble with the toss.
In Sampras.
And he has trouble with that one.
Double fault, his 11th. And Sampras off to a commanding 4-love lead in the 5th
Sampras
set.
leads
A look
by
at
4
the
games to
Cadillac
love.
tournament summary earlier in the day. The 18-year-old American Andy Roddick with a terrific performance against Thomas Johansson. Jennifer Capriati advanced, as did Todd Martin, winning in 5.
And just before we went to the summary, saw Pete Sampras' wife, Bridget, cheering him on. And she's got a good attitude. She was cheering him on even when he lost his serve. She smiling. And I think Pete likes that about the people that he hangs around. And certainly he's going to be hanging around her for a long time, we hope.
Did you expect that she would turn on him when he lost the serve?
Well, you know what it is when you're a player, you don't want drama in your box. You want all the drama happening on the court. You want the stability when you look up there. You don't want anybody hanging their head up there. You want them projecting strength and confidence in you. And she's doing a fine job of that. Kind of a stand by your man scenario, you know?
Yes.
And that sounded like a broken string. Number 3 for Sampras in the match.
30-15.
So he'll take a little rest and which one should I use? And Barry Cowan's father still relishing the moment as well he should. Seen his son come a long way today. So Sampras now 2 points to take a commanding 5-love lead in this 5th set. And beat the other opponent that he's facing right now, Darkness.
Nice pickup by Sampras, but Cowan right there.
Cowan with the runner. Fine return. We've seen this return all day, really. And that is about as good as you can hope for from Pete Sampras, and Cowan has the answer. Still 40-30 for Sampras, though. Barry Cowan is hanging around. Just sticks this pass down the line. All Pete can do to get his racket on it.
They're at deuce.
Where's he going here, Marv?
You want me to have the same type of success record that you have?
I just need you to even up. I'm 0 for 1.
Well, Sampras going long.
Advantage Cowan.
This is a relatively simple shot here, and Pete just didn't get it down. He need to snap that a little bit more, or just play a drop shot in front of him.
Cowan.
What a return by Cowan. And the adventure continues for Sampras. The hill has not made a move. They've hung in as they are here to watch Barry Cowan and Pete Sampras looking up at the big video screen above. And here on court 1, we are in the 5th set. Sampras with a 4-1 lead. Cowan breaking Sampras' serve for the 2nd time this match.
And I'm going to stick by my prediction that this match is still heavily in Pete Sampras' corner, but
15 left.
Sampras broken again twice in this match. And Sampras serving well. 66% first serve. Very few unforced errors. The ratio 72-15 winners to errors. And it'll go wide.
15-all.
Cowan on that break point.
Ladies and
Hear
gentlemen,
the grunt. Just
please
loud.
remain quiet during play. Thank you very much.
Players requesting a little silence during play. Of course, Cowan wants as much noise in between points, just not when he's setting up for a volley.
It's been a boisterous crowd. Fans reacting to the play of Cowan.
Well, they're getting their money's worth here today. This is just not too many guys on the tour are going to give you a second shot on a short lob. Cowan sticking around. 40-15 to close the gap to 4-2. And now Pete has to start thinking in his mind right now, okay, I need to win this match, and I need to do it fairly quickly. Because at 8:38 p.m. local time, how much daylight are they going to allow us to play in? How much is left?
Last night they did play to 9 o'clock.
Game, Cowan.
And that was long. Barry Cowan holds serve. It is now 4-2 in the fifth. And the Cowan family is dad
Sampras leads by 4 games to 2.
Peter, his mom Claire.
Final set.
Claire, we're told, is a teacher here in the London area.
The old foot fault call. And Cowan grunting heavily on the returns now.
15 left.
Trying to get everything he's got left in his body into it. Every player in this tournament who's not on the court will be watching this match on TV someplace, watching this and going, well, is it time for Pete Sampras to be finally defeated here at Wimbledon? Or is this just is he having an off match? Is Cowan playing out of his head? And the way I would answer that is Pete Sampras has shown us nothing out of the ordinary. He's played a fine match, but Barry Cowan has just stepped it up with shots like that. From the third set on, he's played like he's belonged in this match.
And this has developed into the story of the day. Earlier, people talking about the play of Andy Roddick.
Well, there's no question they're still going to be going, the Roddick kid is for real.
Yes.
All the players will know that. But they'll be looking at this. They'll be looking at Barry Cowan from here on in with a different viewpoint.
Whenever there is the possibility of a stunning upset, it does draw the attention. Another sensational shot by Cowan.
He is so inspired right now. Sampras is... It's not that Sampras is making unforced errors here. This is just a clean winner on a Pete Sampras second serve. Okay, if you're Andre Agassi, yeah, then I'm expecting it. Anybody else, I'm not looking for a clean winner. You have to give Barry Cowan his due today. Look at that! I mean, are you kidding me? Is he going to break Pete Sampras 2 times consecutively?
And that would be 3 for the match. Unheard of.
30-40.
I mean, I feel a yes coming on, Marv. I told you so. Just came from Pete Sampras, not from your lips.
Ace number 27 for Sampras.
Oh, my word. Will you look at that statistic? And that guess that came from Pete Sampras' lips tells you where he is in his head right now. Yeah, you hear that little blow came out of Pete Sampras' mouth to kind of blow that ball out.
Advantage Sampras.
Sampras is cranking up the intensity right now because he's got to.
Sampras serving for a 5-2 lead. If he can hold.
That one right on Sampras' racket, but too much steam for him to handle. Nice volley. Not too deep. And Cowan rips that. Sampras tries to go for the angle, catches the frame.
It is back to deuce.
Oh, Pete is not happy, and I'm not sure that he should be.
That was called long. Advantage Cowan.
Umpire quickly agreeing with the call, and I think that ball was on the line. I think I trust Pete Sampras' eyes over the linesman.
From our angle on that replay, it looked like it did hit the line.
Absolutely.
Deuce.
And Sampras with a quick answer, his 28th ace.
Such a veteran, composing himself, digging deep. And we didn't think we'd see Pete Sampras have to dig deep this early in the tournament. I certainly thought he had a really easy run into the 4th round. I expect him to be where he is right now.
Advantage Sampras.
Advantage Sampras.
Pete comes in and puts extra on this volley. He makes sure Cowan's not going to get to it. You know Pete's tuned into a match when he's starting to use his thumb to wipe away sweat from his brow. That's an indication. It's not particularly hot out there, but Pete Sampras is sweating right now.
Sampras holds for a 5-2 lead in the 5th set. Wimbledon, Marv Albert with Jim Courier. This, not what you would expect, as Pete Sampras has had to work very hard to reach match point. And Barry Cowan just continues to play exceptionally well. He is down 5-2 here in the 5th set. Sampras won the first 2 sets. Cowan winning the next 2, one in a tie break. And Sampras is hoping to finally wrap this one up.
Let's the service.
Getting dark now. Can you ask me to stop taking photographs?
Ladies and gentlemen, as a coach is to place, please do not use flash with your camera.
The cameras now, these days, you take a picture, you don't control whether the flash goes on and off, but that's as polite as I've ever heard a request. And he backs it up with a vengeful ace, number 16.
Most of the photographs taken will be of Barry Cowan, and they will be back and front page of the London papers tomorrow.
We can see from our vantage point, the photographer's pit filled in the 5th set, just full of photographers now. And if you look at those cameras, they are all pointed at Barry Cowan.
Cowan will not go away. 40 love.
Game, Cowan.
So it's now 5-3, and Sampras will serve for what he hopes will be the match. We have now gone 2 hours
Sampras
and
leads by 5
50
games to 3.
minutes.
Final set.
It's about twice what I was guessing this match would go, really. And Pete Sampras has done his job out there today. It's this man, Barry Cowan, who's been the real surprise. Now Sampras has himself in position, 3 points away from advancing to a third round.
15 left.
Match up against Armenian Sargsyan if he can get through here. And he's got to bear down and get these 3 points.
And now 2 points away.
I don't think there's anyone better in the
30
business
left.
closing matches out than Pete Sampras. When you have a serve like his, it's really no wonder. But it's taken him a lot longer than he would have hoped to get to this position.
Well, Barry Cowan able to break serve 3 times in this match. And Pete Sampras
40 left.
is now 1 point away from closing out a match that he felt would have been over about an hour and a half ago.
Game, set, and match. Sampras. 3 sets to 2.
But the story,
6-3,
the
6-2,
performance
6-7.
of England's
4-6,
Barry
6-3.
Cowan. The crowd responding to what they have seen take place here on court 1.
Look at Barry Cowan. Wow. A moment he should remember for the rest of his life.
Well, Pete Sampras has been a very popular player over the years here at Wimbledon. The ovation is for Barry Cowan, who takes Sampras to 5 sets. Sampras able to finish it off with his 29th ace. That's a career high at Wimbledon for Sampras.
And off they go, and they're definitely hearing the applause. And there will be many more opportunities for the fans to cheer for Pete Sampras. And Barry Cowan's mother,
Claire.
she should be so proud of her son. The whole country should be proud of Barry Cowan today. He's really given them something to root for.
Ranked 265th in the world. And providing a bit of a scare for the defending champion, Pete Sampras.
Fantastic stuff. Both guys.
Security, if you leave your seat, please make
More
sure you
tennis
take
to
a
come
reasonable
later on. Exclusive coverage of the